Hi everybody, Brooke Sanders here. I'm your Secret Garden Girl, and this is our sowing seeds part 2, as I promised. And what we've been doing is just finishing off some Brussels sprouts. So we have some Brussels sprouts in all 3 of these little containers here. We did some butternut crunch in here. We have some romaine lettuce in here. And then we have peas over here. And we're going to be doing a whole bunch more, but you guys get the idea of how this works. It's super simple. Follow the directions on the back of your package. Know that you're sowing seeds now to put into your garden 6 weeks from today. So know what your weather pattern is. We are in southern Arizona here. We're only about 25 minutes from Mexico, so we get a lot of heat, and this is our monsoon season. And as we spoke about, monsoon season gives us an extra growing season, essentially. We go into the heat of the summer, which is brutal here. Hard to grow food. In fact, the hardiest of gardeners, take on our summer heat. Ideally for me, because I'm kind of tired of all of that, is I want to start growing my seasons now for the cooler climate and grow through to, say, January, February, if we don't get snow, which is rare here. Alrighty, so that's why we're doing this now at this time of the year. Know what zone you're in. We here are zone 9AB, which is warm. You need to know what zone you're in. You can Google that, and if you need me to help you with that, talk to me in the comments down below. I save a lot of these little plastic containers. This was pepper, just ground pepper. I took off the label, and I washed it, of course, dried it out before I put my seeds in. And these are actually from Sally and her husband. We're going to be touring their garden soon, as soon as it gets a little cooler, maybe next month. She's got a really neat garden, folks. You guys are going to dig that. But these are the marigolds that she gave us, and these are marigolds that a variety that are okay with sun. So this is good for our area. Yeah. So, and then this is our sweet potato. Kathy has started, and these are going to be growing slips. You see the little purple right there? They're going to grow up, and then they're going to make leaves, and then you cut the leaves, and then you put them into water, and you let them root. And once they have their roots, then you put them into the ground. And when I get back to my place, I'll show you some slips that actually Sally gave us. And I put them in my grow bags.
Oh, and how do you configure this container? What do? You go to the store and you buy a sweet potato, right?
You buy an organic sweet potato.
An organic sweet potato. Right.
I know that a lot of people will have done this with non-organic, and they've been successful. But for me, I prefer organic. That's just me. And I find it's much more successful. It's better for our bodies. We've all talked about that before. So this is what Kathy's starting right now.
Yeah, and
it's great.
It has some roots on it even.
Already. Yeah, it has some roots
Let me see
down
if we
here.
can see them.
See the roots?
Yeah, there they are.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, so it's going to root.
And so I'll do a little follow-up video on my grow bags for you guys. That video got a lot of views. I was a little surprised for that little tiny video that I did, but people are interested in those grow bags, and I think I'm going to have just an abundant of sweet potatoes in there because I put in a lot. The other thing that I did that I thought would be fun, I had a tomato, an organic tomato, and it was sitting on the counter for a while. And I went to go use it, and I look at this tomato, and it's growing inside the skin. I can see the roots, and I thought, well, how fun is this?
I opened a squash the other day, and the seeds had they were about ½ inch long, had started growing inside.
Right. So you know what I did is I took it and I planted this tomato whole right into a 45-gallon grow bag. So now we know that's going to go nuts, and then I'll have to be doing a lot of thinning, so we're going to have a lot of tomatoes. I'm excited about that. So basically, that's about it. These are our peas, which I'm really excited about. These will grow about this big once your seedlings get their second set of seeds.
Second set
of leaves, I mean. then you know that they're good to go out into the garden and go
Okay.
into soil. They'll come up with their first set of leaves. They're very tender. They can't take any kind of climate. You want to keep them inside until they grow their second set of seeds, and then you know they're
Leaves.
hardened leaves. A second set of leaves, and then you know that they're hardened off. That's what that phrase
Okay.
means, to go ahead and put them into the garden. And so then we have peas.
I've heard another thing that's called hardening up. I want to ask is this the same thing? When your plants are ready to take outside, you don't want to just take them out and plant them, right?
No, you want to give them a little bit of sunshine in the, let's say morning time if it's not too hot. And then just make sure that you open these lids here, because this is a little mini hothouse, right? A little grow house. And so if you leave them in direct sun, you're going to cook the heck out of them. So open them up once they've gotten a little bit hardy enough. Open the lids up and stick them outside for hour or so. Bring them back inside. You have to baby them. Did that answer your question?
Yes, and I have another question about the
Watering?
about the sweet potato.
Okay.
Yeah, that thing.
Okay.
The sweet potato.
Yeah.
So I have, I put some toothpicks in it, and so it keeps it from flopping over. And then also I found that I have to change the water on that every day. It gets nasty. So don't, make sure you change the water every day.
Yeah. You know what? If it smells, no bueno.
Yeah.
Right? So
Right.
it's kind of like common sense. Your plants will tell you what they need if you just take a second and go, wait, that smells not good, so let's get some fresh water.
Yeah.
The soil is dry, so it needs more water. The soil is way super wet, stop watering. Your plants will tell you by the way they look. If they're wilted over, they need a little water. If they're turning brown, then they've gotten too much water.
Oh, really? You think if they turn brown, it'd mean that they
I know.
need water.
Yeah, I know. It's an oxymoron, but that's the case. That's why your little tomato plants down at the bottom, when I was pulling all that dry up,
Right.
is because they were getting too much water. But you kind of had a paradox going on, because you had your corn growing right outside behind your tomato plants.
That didn't work.
No, it didn't work because the corn needs more water than the tomatoes.
Right.
So it was just a matter of
Yeah.
placement. And you know what, folks? As we continue doing these videos, we'll be teaching you all about that stuff.
Yeah. What to plant next to do it, what to do after your garden is finished and you
Right.
start a new one.
Right.
You probably don't want to plant the same things in
You
the
do
same
not,
place.
because these plants are, taking nutrients out of the soil and also putting in their own nutrients.
I see.
So if you it's called rotating your crops. So that makes sense, right? You
Right.
So this year do butternut squash, butternuts over here, and no corn. And know that corn takes a tremendous amount of water.
I tried corn
Yeah.
and it didn't work.
It didn't work.
Maybe-
What happened was basically poor Kathy, I wrangled her into doing this big garden, and then I got sick, really, really, really sick. We don't know if it was the corona, but we suspect that's probably what was happening with me, but we don't know. In fact, I'm going in for another antibody test on Tuesday. Nonetheless, poor Kath got slammed with this by herself. And so she started planting, and she didn't know certain little
Right.
tricks. And when
What
I
to plant
became
where.
well and I came over, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, we have a few problems. But that's okay. Here's the thing. Failure teaches you success for the next time. And so don't be afraid to try. Just try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did kind of an experimental garden this
You
year because
did.
it's my first year here.
Yes.
And I do know that next summer, though, I am going to plant lots of watermelons. They're
Yeah.
doing great.
But you're going to want to rotate your crop,
Oh, yeah.
right? So maybe instead
put
of
it
doing
somewhere else.
corn where the corn is, we'll do
watermelon.
We'll put in the watermelon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Brooke. I appreciate all your advice and help.
It's my deepest pleasure.
Okay.
And if you guys like this video or the other video, part 1 and part 2, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel and ring that bell so that you know when the next one is coming. And I promise you we won't go another 2 weeks without doing a video. What happened was life happened.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes you just have to, you know, figure out what your priorities were. And for me, on a personal note, I lost my kitty for a few days, and it was a harrowing experience, and I had to completely focus on finding Jim. And we did find him, and he's well, and he's at home. And so I was able to get back into the saddle again and start teaching you guys some more stuff. So that'll do us for this time. Again, like, subscribe, and ring that bell, and we'll see you next time you folks get out there and start gardening on.
Bye, Brooke.
Bye!